But I believe it's always important to vote as as early as you possibly can, because you never know what the circumstances are. You might have some kind of an accident, or for some reason you may not be able to show up at the polls on the election day. I don't like to use weather because that's not, to me, shouldn't be a deterrent. But I often joke, and it's not just a joke, because several years ago, a good friend of mine voted early and passed away before election day. And the courts ruled that that vote had to count. So when you look at it, I always say, vote as soon as you possibly can. You never know what the circumstances are. Your vote may count even if you aren't here to know the result. So, everything cries out for voting early.
What issues are you going to be hitting on in the final weeks of your campaign?
Well, I think the most important issue this year, irrespective of what people may say about it, is whether or not this country will continue its pursuit of a more perfect union, or whether or not we are going to get sidetracked and have all of these issues that cry out for autocratic leadership. All over the world, there are forces that are attempting to derail democracies. It has been forever the deal. I remember as a very young budding politician, Nikita Khrushchev, who a lot of people may not even heard of, was the Soviet leader of the Soviet Union before it dissolved. And he said at the time that their whole goal was to bury these United States. And his quote was, "We will bury you." They have not deterred from that. Putin is carrying on the same thing. And we see now, and I was glad to see reports this morning on the national news reiterating the things I said back in 2018, when I said at the time that Trump was not planning to leave office. I said that Trump reminded me of Mussolini, who was a disciple of Hitler. I got criticized severely when I said that. Now everybody is saying it. And just this morning, I saw a historian on national television saying that what is taking place here is reminiscent of what happened in in Germany when Hitler was elected chancellor, and then set out to discredit all of the institutions around it, discredited the press, discredited the religion, had swastikas hanging in churches all over Germany. And that is what's taking place here. And it's very clear to me, when the OPEC nation sat down with Russia 2 weeks ago and decided to decrease the production of oil, and as the same expert said this morning, that was a signal to him that they were doing everything they could to usher Trump back in the office. Now that is so clear, and I don't see why anybody who's ever studied history, who can read the newspapers and watch television, cannot see that those forces around the world are at play. You see it in England today. The United Kingdom is no longer united and no longer a kingdom. And that is what will happen to this country if we lose these elections this year and in 2024.
What do you hope the voters focus on at the polls?
I hope they focus on this democracy. Look, this is not a perfect country, but this country is always in pursuit of perfection. That's what we've always been. I often, every time I come to vote, I remember the first time I went to jail protesting in this country. It was right on this corner, right in front of this building. This building was not here at the time, but it was right here where I was arrested. Because I was trying to help this country in pursuit of perfection, trying to change laws that I thought needed to be changed, and those laws were changed. And I sit in the Congress today, and that's a far cry from a junior at South Carolina State back in 1960 when that arrest was made.